yeah, moving on to new things. Not totally new. Some things are familiar. Fractions. The part that's not familiar, equal groups of fractions. So, equal groups also like repeated adding of groups. So we're talking about multiplication. I said a lot of ums there. All right, so our learning goal is to represent and solve multiplication of a whole number and a fraction. So that's a whole number times a fraction. That refers to the whole using objects and pictorial models, including area models. So once again, we're going to look at a lot of different picture versions of multiplying a whole number times a fraction. Also, we're going to, not, I don't think this week, I think next week, but maybe this week, we're going to divide whole numbers by unit fractions and unit fractions by whole numbers. Unit fractions, remember, we talked about those. That's when your numerator has a 1. So here's some examples of unit fractions down there. So represent division of a unit fraction by a whole number and the division of a whole number by a unit fraction, such as 1/3 divided by 7 and 7 divided by 1/3, using objects and pictorial models, including area models. So that's a big mouthful to say multiplying and dividing fractions. So our language objective, um, let's try and use words like model, whole, repeated groups. Remember, repeated groups is like repeated addition, like multiplication. Partition, that means to split up. So split up, partition. Equivalent, we've been using that to discuss fractions that are the same. Product is the answer to your multiplication problem. Factors are the pieces of a multiplication problem. Don't forget to look at the poster over with Benson. Quotient, your answer to a division problem. Dividend, the number that we are dividing. And then divisor, how many groups we're dividing our dividend into. That's a lot of review. All right, so by the end of the week, you should be able to just feel confident solving for products of fractions and whole numbers and quotients of whole numbers and dividends divided by unit fractions and unit fraction dividends divided by whole numbers. Whoa, that was a lot of stuff to say, but now you know. Now you know. All right, so warm up. How many do you see? How do you see them? With your eyes? That's not what they're asking. All right, so how many do we see? Obviously, they didn't give you much as far as instruction goes, but I want you to think about, like, when you're looking at these, are they segmented? Are they split into pieces? Are they wholes? What are they? So you can look at this in a bunch of different ways. So really, talk to your table. What do you see? Are they split up into is it a whole orange? Is it half an orange? Is each half split into a segment? Is each segment split into half? Oh my gosh, there's so many ways we could look at this. But just kind of look. There's groups. Looks like equal groups of some stuff. So yeah, go ahead and talk about it. We'll come back and we'll discuss it a little bit. Okay. I think you're back. Hello. So basically, we could look at this in a bunch of different ways. First off, these are oranges and they're halves of oranges. So we could say this is one half. 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 And we could say this is one half. So that's one half 5 times. One half times 5. Right? You could have seen that. Or you could have just said, maybe you were just like, well, there's 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces, 5 pieces. That's 5 times 5. All right. Or maybe you got even crazier and you were like, okay, in each piece, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces. So you were thinking that's 12 twelfths plus another 12 twelfths plus another 12 twelfths plus another 12 twelfths plus another 12 twelfths, which would be 12 twelfths times 5. Once again, we have 5 groups of 12 twelfths. There's a bunch of different ways to look at this. I wonder if anybody said 24ths, since this is a half. So if each one of those is twelfths, and that's half, then if you got the other half, then that'd be 24ths. If not, that's fine. I'm just making stuff up. All right, anyway. So what we're looking at is repeated groups, and we can even go as far as say repeated groups of fractions or multiplying fractions. Come back and we'll take a look at some more.